All right, Jody, here's department tab now. Just sent you the revenue build tab, which was this one over here. Everything's going to be feeding from that into here. Not everything, but just want to show you what's happening here. This is a page formula, page formula, page formula. This is coming from the seasonal build now, so demand calls ran per month. So that's going to come from the seasonal tab. And then maintenance calls. That'll come from the maintenance, from the seasonal tab as well, just to show you what that looks like. I created this. We used to populate this with revenue, but I think it makes more sense to populate this with call count, because that'll be closer to the head count than revenue will be. So I'm going to go with that thought process, because I think we touched on that. But anyway, so we'll put in the call count, and then we'll give them folks instructions, pre-instructions to give us the call count by month for the past year or whatever it is. They should have that. The existing members should have that. The new members may be struggling with that. So we can still then use their revenue if we need to. It'll still populate the same way, but I'd like to coach it to be call count. I think we talked about that. I don't know if I talked about that in my head or if we talked about that as a group. But anyways, and then maintenance calls or system check calls that would go into here, and then we could then populate the seasonality based off of demand and on system checks. Did that for the plumbing, did it for the HVAC as well, and did it for the electrical. The other departments, past those, I just went back to the, we'll just put revenue in here for those. And for the installation departments, it was basically revenue again. I was thinking maybe we do installs, but I don't know. Because installs would tell us a better head count on crews. And I'm not opposed to that. I could just change the sales to installs. So, I'm toying with this, but I don't make too many changes without everybody knowing what the hell I'm thinking. So I'm leaving it the same for right now. And I'm leaving that the same here, and I'm leaving it the same here. So okay, so we've got that. So back to the departments now. So that takes care of the demand and the maintenance calls. So then this will add up to total calls. Okay. And then it'll show us the number of techs based off of needing three calls per tech. So this annual demand call came from the revenue build tab, and this budgeted call came from the revenue build tab. And I kind of touched on that in my last video a little bit. So on the plumbing side, if they filled in the demand calls or the revenue or the system check calls, that's where it's populating from. If they're not doing system check calls on the plumbing side, if they're not doing those outbound calls, just put a 0 in there, and then the department tab will then show a 0 in here and a 0 here. So it goes back to just demand. So depending on how they fill out this revenue tab is how it's going to, whether it's system checks gets involved in the equation here. Okay, but it's still call count. So then that's really, everything else is pretty much the same. I did make this change. If they populate this first, then these will populate automatic. Well, shit, that didn't take. It will take. I thought I did that, but I obviously just thought I did it. Anyways, I'm going to make this so that they fill it in once, that it'll populate on all of them down below, because that was kind of a bitch by some of the members that I had. So we'll just fill this in one time up here. I'll fix that before I send it out to you. Okay. Demand. So that's on the department tab. So that's it on the department side. I'm going to then do one on the KPI side. Stop.